Hello, this is Laura from Connected Child. Today we're starting with a question from Claudia. Claudia asked, any advice on generally compulsive behaviour? Eating, gaming, hoarding. She's 16. Thank you, Claudia. I'm sure you have an absolutely lovely daughter there, 16-year-old. Maybe she's starting her GCSEs at the moment. So I don't know any more about the case at this point, but from what you're saying, I would say, first of all, adolescents are under a lot more stress than we give them credit for. And this stress and this overwhelm leads to frustration. They feel nobody's listening to them. There's lots of feelings that come up when you're frustrated. And it is a hard time, and it's supposed to be a hard time. It's just the way it is. And they have the ability to deal with it if they can deal with their emotions. Now, what happens when their emotions get stuck and their frustration's got nowhere to go? And then it becomes another story altogether. So some children, some adolescents, they go into that kind of compulsive behaviour. They can overeat or even undereat. They can hoard things. I don't know what she's hoarding, but whatever it is, it's just a behaviour. And of course, gaming. And it's always a lot bigger picture than that, isn't it, with the internet these days, as children have a lot more access to social media. So these compulsive behaviours start to become a habit. I don't know how long she's had this behaviour for, but I suspect it's a little while, otherwise you wouldn't be bringing it to our attention here. And then the brain becomes hardwired to a habit, and then this starts to become part of their personality. And then it starts to become accepted, and no one's really addressing it. So it is a cycle and it is a problem, and I'm really glad that you brought it to our attention, Claudia. The way to look at this is to actually take a bigger picture look and start to think about the frustration rather than the behaviour, because that's where it's coming from. And if you ask the right questions, you'll get a better answer. And if we just look at the behaviour, we're never going to come up with the right answers here, because we'll always be looking at more like rewards and punishments and setting limits, and that's all coming from the outside. What you really want is for her to change from the inside out, but from that you're going to have to help her along with that. So the thing to do is to have a look in her life and put the spotlight on where you see her frustration, where you see her struggling, where you see the stress, and that's the area that I would go. And how do you do that? The best way really is, as I always will say to everybody, is about connection. It all starts with connection. So it's the child or young person's connection with us that really counts. And for this, you just want to hang out with her, you want to give her some time, give her some opportunity to talk to you, to share her feelings with you. And this can take hours with a 16-year-old. It's not going to happen in a 30-minute session normally, unless she's got a good connection with you already. So I would spend time with her and give opportunities for her to talk to you and see if you can just give her some emotional support at this stage. So if you were a client coming to me, we would go into this in a lot more depth. But at this point, I hope that's given you some roadmap, some area that you can think about now and focus in a little bit more on the area of her frustration rather than the behaviour itself. So Claudia, please feel free to comment and say if that's helped or not. I do hope it has. And again, congratulations on having a lovely 16-year-old, and you're doing a great job. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.